Well, hello. Today I'm interviewing.
Caryn Langwell, health science teacher at Women's High School.
All right, and what kind of nurse were you before this?
I was not a specialized nurse. I'm a registered nurse. I've worked in geriatrics, I've worked in med-surg, and I have worked as a public health nurse.
Which one did you like the most?
I don't think that there was one that was my favorite. I liked the aspects of each one. I think my least favorite probably turned out to be working in geriatrics at a nursing home. I enjoyed my patients, but not necessarily the politics of the nursing home. I did enjoy working on the med-surg unit. I was on a step-down unit, so it was a step down from the ICU. So we would have cardiac patients, patients that were coming out of ICU would come to us, and then we ended up with just regular medical patients. That was fun and interesting because it was fast-paced, and I got to hone in on a lot of nursing skills, and public health was completely different from anything I'd ever done before. It centered on a lot of patient education and prevention.
What was the biggest downside of being a registered nurse? Was it the work hours? Was there a certain aspect you didn't like of it?
Yeah, the hospital, nursing home, probably the work hours. One of the big kickers for me leaving to be the public health nurse were the hours. Had I not had a family with small children, it may not have been such a big deal. But working 12-hour shifts from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or at the nursing home, I'll have to work 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. about 4 days a week. And weekends and holidays kind of takes a toll on you and your family. So the hours were my biggest issue.
Did you like coming here to teach us about the medical field?
Oh, of course. Even when I was in high school, I kind of thought I would go to school to become a teacher, but things changed, and I ended up going to nursing school, and I got my nursing degree. But I had always looked for positions in schools, but because I don't have my bachelor's degree right now, I couldn't become a school nurse without that. And then I discovered that I could be a health science teacher with my nursing license and experience, and I had both of those things and found this job, and so far I'm enjoying it.
So you know how as little kids, everybody goes, well, I'm going to be the president, I'm going to be, a singer. What was your career as a little kid? Did it change to become a nurse? Like, what was your big dream?
I tended to float towards being a teacher. By the time I got to high school, I really did want to be a teacher. I applied for the Teaching Fellows Scholarship and everything, and I initially started my college career at East Carolina. Initially as undecided because I was back and forth between teaching and business and medical. So I was undecided for a couple of years.
What really opened your eyes to it?
Well, I moved back home from Greenville and started school at Elizabeth City State. And they had just started with a pre-pharmacy program. And I thought that sounded really interesting, good job security. So I started the prerequisite classes for pre-pharmacy. Got to a certain point where I was not enjoying myself with those courses anymore. Just couldn't get through them. But because I had kind of gotten to know some of these areas that were prerequisites for nursing as well, that kind of piqued my interest. And seeing as COA has one of the better nursing programs here where I was able to stay close to home, because at that time I did have a child, I decided to apply for the nursing program, and I got in.
This interview is going to be seen by many people, especially ones wanting to go into the medical career. What advice would you give them and me?
It's hard, but don't let that discourage you. You're not going to be the only one struggling through whatever medical route you take. And if you work really hard and really learn to work independently and as a team player, you'll get through it just fine. But not to give up when it gets too hard, because it's going to get hard and you're going to cry and you're going to get mad and you're going to want to quit. But that is kind of the point where you realize your strength as a person overall. Because if you can get through that, if you can get through nursing school, you can get through a lot of things in life.
Well, speaking of that, what's your next goal? Like, you've met already, you've gone to college, you've gone through nursing home, hospital, you're teaching us now. What's your next goal?
My next big goal would probably be to get my bachelor's degree. Right now, my goal is to get my teaching license, and then after that would be to pursue my bachelor's degree. But I would have to decide if I would want my bachelor's in nursing or education.
Thank you so much for this interview. It was wonderful talking to you.
You're very welcome.